A reminder that this news is also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144 around the world on myjoyonline.com. Now, the Ghana Education Ministry introduced a new curriculum in 2019, but to date, many schools are yet to receive the required number of textbooks. In December 2022, many schools in the Krachi in Chumoro district had not received the textbook for the new curriculum. In today's edition of Ghana Schools of Shame, JoyNews features the editor Kojo checked over 20 schools in the district and found that teachers have received textbooks for only 3 subjects from Basic 1 to 6.
We are not sparing any efforts to make education in Ghana of the best quality and fit for the needs of the 21st century. In September 2019, a new standard-based curriculum will be rolled out from kindergarten to class 6 in primary schools. This curriculum is drawn upon the best practices from all over the world and will focus on making Ghanaian children confident, innovative, creative thinking, digitally literate, well-rounded patriotic citizens.
That statement was made on 20th February 2019. 3 years after the introduction of the new curriculum, many basic schools operated without textbooks. Many education stakeholders expressed concerns about no textbooks in the classrooms. The Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei-Educhum, was compelled to answer questions in Parliament on why the textbooks had delayed.
We're going to do everything possible to make sure the textbooks are there. That is why this time I was careful not to give you a date, because I know my colleague will come and quote me. But all that I can assure you of is that we're at a critical stage where the quality assurance is being done so that I don't have a situation where some T's are not crossed and I's are not dotted to get into trouble with my ordinary colleague. So, Mr. Speaker, all that I can say is that the final stage is what we have done now, quality assurance, and our textbooks are going to be available in the classroom.
In July 2022, the government printed and supplied textbooks to schools. My colleague, Papania Ashali, met the Deputy Education Minister, Reverend Intim Kojo, and asked when all schools will receive the textbooks.
And so we are monitoring and ensuring that the printing, delivery, distribution must continue as effective at the speed that we are seeing it now. And we are very optimistic that even before the 90-day period, every school and every child will have the required number of books to support their effective learning. It's an ongoing process. We will collate all the data and then we will let you know.
That the ministry at this point in time do not know that students or schools that have received...
Don't go on that mischief angle, because that will not be...
No, it's not mischief. You mentioned that some of the students have received the textbooks.
The process that is ongoing. We are here at the press house, having seen the production, the packaging, and the delivery. And we have given you information of about 60% that have already gone to regions that have also been in the process of being distributed. Some have definitely gone to schools. And we have told you that we will ascertain the particular schools that they've gone.
So we focus on the Krachi in Chumuru district of the Oti region. Many teachers found innovative ways of impacting knowledge because they had not received textbooks.
My name is James Asarudi, and this motorcar number 2 DA primary, basic 4. I'm the one in charge of this class. There have not been textbooks. In fact, I won't say adequate. There's none. Not even a single textbook to boast of. So at times what we do is you have to go around. When you get a passage, you have to run photocopy of it. You bring it for lesson. And then there are some other subjects that we the teachers we use our personal money to get some 1-2 textbooks on our own that we are using. So that is how we teach over here.
The new curriculum, we don't have them.
You don't have them?
Yes, we went for a workshop, all right, but except this particular term that they brought some few textbooks, and the textbooks class 1, class 2, and class 3. Few ones. English, only English. We normally write some simple sentences and simple readings on the board for them so that they will copy and they will go home and learn because of the books are not available.
As of December 2022, many schools had not received textbooks. Motoka DA Primary School had not received textbooks.
The issue is that we don't have textbooks. So some of us use our own money to buy it, like this RME. I bought it with my own money. Science with my own money. And the ones I can afford is what I bought. Or maybe you go to the other school and go and borrow books from the other school and come and teach them after that send it back.
We lack books. Subjects that we don't have books. We lack maths books, we lack science books, we lack social what are people, we lack history. In fact, basically we lack all books.
I'm Benny Stogbe, a class 3 teacher, and this is our class. About the textbooks, we don't even have a single of them. That's the new curriculum textbooks. So I bought a golden textbook, that golden English, golden Sahara. It's drawn like according to the new curriculum. So that is what I am using small. I just bought single of them. So I use them alone. They don't have some to use. We are pleading with the government to provide us with the textbooks, the new curriculum textbooks, because we don't have any of them in the school.
Since 2019, the curriculum has been changed, but so far we haven't been delivered any textbook yet. And the ones that I get in the market, that's what I've bought so far. But I bought, that's for my copy, it's not for the students. The one I used to teach them. So, and you know, if you are teaching, there are some things, some pictures and some words the children themselves might see. But it's not, as it's not enough, there is no way they can see those things. And so that's the major challenge we have here.
Kojo DA Primary School had also not received textbooks.
You just go online, Google about the subject, you do your own research and come in. You don't have textbooks, so you just go online and Google about the subject, then you come and teach just like that. You don't have textbooks. At all? At all. But like, personally, myself, when I was coming, I bought some myself from my place. Some teachers who I know they have, that one you buy it yourself.
Brian Kwanta had some textbooks for some classes.
The textbook we have, only few. And looking at the number of the children, each child will not get a textbook. At least 4 in 1. 4 children per 1 book. And those children cannot carry the book home.
In Desala DA Primary School also had not received textbooks. So how will these children be confident, creative, digitally literate and well-rounded citizens as stated by the president when they do not have learning aids? This is just one side of the story.
Schools under trees is a symptom of poor planning. Why did we not know that that community needs a school and proactively put a school there? And just go and approve a school that is under tree. When you were sending the teachers there, didn't we see there were no classrooms? So it's an indictment against us, and we are going to do a better job next time, not to look at the fruit, the challenge, the problem.
Number 11.
Children here study under very terrible conditions. The district chief executive of Krachi Nchimuru, Nkrumah Kwesi, acknowledges that his district has serious infrastructural challenges.
The infrastructure deficit is huge. We have a lot of deplorable schools. We have high number of schools under trees too. Then furniture deficits. At the last time when I checked, I requested for that data from the district assembly. We have over 7,000 deficits. So we have over 7,000 children who don't have any furniture to sit on. So that is about half of the student population in the districts.
These children endure a lot of challenges, including snakes, evading their classrooms.
Class munti ya brepa esram pachan ya na ekunye school kwala no mo de na eku ya dudua na de akum na oba mo nchen pachan net na class ya ade na obae na dudua ya aburakum nti esram pa mo mbuae.
But they still show up in school to study. Even without furniture, some carry kitchen stools on their heads and walk long distances, all in the quest of getting educated. The pupils are getting ready to write their end of third term examinations. After 10 minutes into the exams, Michael Kwabna Nayak rides his bicycle to school. He said he went to fetch water for the house, but because he was running late, he decided to come to school first. He goes round in search of a spare pencil because he misplaced his. After getting a pencil, he starts to write the exams.
A, air pollution, B, water pollution, C, money. So when you find it,
Michael has no furniture, so he kneels and begins to take the test. Many children in his classroom without furniture assume the same position. It's a very uncomfortable posture, but they endure, from lying on broken benches, sitting on stones, and the bare floor.
Now, let's stay a bit longer on this particular subject. Selom Branche is Vice President at Imani Center for Policy and Education and joins us live with more. Selom, grateful that you could find time to join us. We certainly are lagging behind as a country as long as we fail to effectively implement this new curriculum without the required textbooks, right?
Yes. Good morning to you and everybody else. It's a very, very sad spectacle. Being what was being shown, the fact that the future of this country is receiving very little or no direction as to the most important tool that they would require to be able to sustain themselves or actually build a country. And the minister himself diagnosed the issue in part of the segment that he showed, that this is absolutely poor, egregious planning. Curriculum research and development takes many years to develop. And usually, when you want to run a system like this, where you want to change over into a new system, you would have planned already, maybe a couple of years in advance, what you needed to do. So it looks like either the ministry rushed into the whole curriculum planning thing, or they were misinformed about the logistics required on the ground, or they were just probably extremely clueless about it. Because it's a beggar's belief that you find the whole region, one of the poorer regions in the country, which still has a very high dependency ratio, a very high population of young people, having absolutely no clue as to how they are going to have their education for 3 years now, and possibly even for the next year or two. Because it means that even by the time the test would come, they would need even extra time to catch up with other classmates from other more privileged parts of the country. And these are the things that actually deepen the poverty divide, where the poor remain poorer, whilst others get a chance for the fewer opportunities that exist. So this is really a very big indictment and very atrocious. I mean, it's a very, very sad thing to watch. If you think about the larger term implications, the Ministry of Education has really failed. The Ghana Education Service in itself has also failed. as well as the district assembly authorities, because even if for any reason the main people could not do anything, they should have been able to put some resources together to safeguard the education of the future of the district.
Okay. Salom, how can we, what do we ascribe to for our inability to develop our education after so many years of so many research that have been conducted into how to develop education in the sub-region and even in Ghana particularly?
It is incredible because, I mean, this is a country where a lot of secondary schools, a lot of primary schools started from the village. In fact, for most of those in leadership today, those who are above 50, 60, 70, most of them actually started their education from the villages, these same villages, these same remote areas. And this was 60 years ago, around the time of independence, when our infrastructure was far less than it is today, when our road networks and our transport networks were far less than it was today. Yet people still have access to very good foundational education. So what has changed? What has changed is not the fact that we do not have the requisite education and information. What has changed is that those who are running the show, or those who are leading the charge and the effort, are either not up to the task, or they are not planning well and securing funds for the task, or they basically are not taking it serious. Or most probably, they are putting square pegs in round holes. People who do not understand what they have to do and are there just because of some kind of patronage or the other. Because after 60, 70 years of independence, we cannot still be having this situation where even the pre-colonial days was better than it is now. Especially now when we are in the digital age and we have far better transparency and far better road and infrastructural network. This is actually an indictment on everyone in the leadership in education right now. And it should not be treated as a political issue, but a huge social crisis. And if we do not do that, then we have failed. Because it's just very clear that those who are in charge of planning these things, I mean, and we are talking about OT today, Western region tomorrow, Western North, it could even be parts of Greater Accra region. And we cannot do this when the whole world is moving forward into a digital age where we cannot do just very simple tests. Very simple
so this has become sort of a vicious cycle. What must happen? What must change in your perspective?
What must change? A lot has to change. I mean, we have to have what I usually call a seismic shift. We cannot continue with this kind of foundation. We can do all the talking we want, but talking won't change anything. I believe that there has to be a petition sent to Parliament to investigate the root cause of these issues. And if it means reverting to the old curriculum, we have to wait for the infrastructure for the new curriculum. We should. The children should be able to learn something, and the teachers should not use their mega salaries to be sponsoring the education when they themselves do not earn enough to keep body and soul together. This is an indictment on our leadership ethics as a whole. And what we need to do is to actually have people come together and say that enough is enough, and we should fire people at the top of the education civil service infrastructure if we have to. Because we cannot keep going like this. This is a complete failure.
Okay, all right. Grateful that you could join us. Salom Brancher is Vice President of Imani Africa. Now, still staying with education, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Kojo Blakwa, wants government to abolish the protocol system in the Computerized School Selection and Placement System, CSSPS. His call comes in reaction to the Fourth Estate documentary Placement for Sale, which chronicled how some individuals sold the school placement slot to some Category A schools for as much as 20,000 Ghana cedis. We'll hear from the MP shortly, but first, here is the Minister of Education, Dr. Oseyawa Dichum's initial response to the Placement for Sale saga.
The church, Presbyterian Church, how do I tell the moderator that the school that you funded and continue to fund and provide resources, if you want 5 or 10 students to go there, I won't allow you. So it's a system that we came to inherit. if, unfortunately, people are using dubious means to get access to something that has been set aside to these key supporters of education in the country, it has to be stopped. And that's why I embrace the documentary that has been done. As soon as we know the content, we'll respond appropriately, and we'll work with the security agencies to ensure that this year's placement will be flawless, and that nobody will be able to take advantage of something so sacred as free senior high school and giving opportunity to everyone to be in. I'm so happy, though, that something has been done, and we are going to embrace it and look at plug any loopholes that's out there. The protocol from the senior high school headmasters, nobody approves it. They just upload it. So if the high school headmaster has 50 people on protocol, they just upload it, and the technical person has to just say approved. You don't vet it. So the idea that you sit there and you are determining, no, you see, what happens with placement in all schools for that matter, and category A schools for that matter, is that 30% of all the placement is set aside for students who went to public junior high schools, a proxy for disadvantaged. So until now, until free senior high school, if you go to a school like Wesley Girls, only about 5 or 10% at most will have gone to public schools. This new system allows a minimum of 30% to come from those who have an equity intervention, so that they too can have access to schools that they will never have dreamt of going.
But speaking on the AM show, Samuel Kojo Blakwa said the only sure way to deal with the problem is to abolish the protocol system. Now moving on to other stories. Agriculture experts believe a new agreement to allow United States pork products flooding the market will wipe out hundreds of livelihoods in the local value chain in Ghana. Local pig farmers are panicking as the move could destroy gains made over the years. In a statement cited by JoyNews, the United States now has a green light from the Ministry of Agriculture's Veterinary Services Directorate to officially bring in pork and other meat products. However, agriculture economist Robert Adu believes it is the wrong move. Agri experts they believe that the new agreement that the government of Ghana has, signed on to allowing the United States pork producers to flood the Ghanaian market with their pork product will wipe out hundreds of livelihoods. Now, they argue that local pig farmers, have tried to develop the industry to a certain level, and they are panicking now as the move could destroy gains made over the years. In a statement that we have cited, the United States can now bring in pork and pork products and other meat products into the Ghanaian market, and many believe this will hurt the local industry. The farmers have warned that if this is allowed to follow through, their livelihood will be wiped out, including hundreds of jobs that will be lost. Now, so economist Robert Adu has been speaking on this, and he believes it's something that should not be encouraged.
One, it is going to affect employment. Most of these young pig farms are going to collapse. There's no two ways about that. The cost is just too high to produce locally. Now, when you compare that to the one that they are going to bring in, the normal consumer who already has challenges with budget will go for the cheaper option. And when we are even talking about the health implications, those they are going to bring, no one really knows for how many years they have preserved them. And so I think as far as employment is concerned, we should try to be very cautious.
Now, Anthony Morrison is Executive Director of the Chamber of Agribusiness, and he is joining us live here for more. We also have Mr. Apia, who is President of the Pig Breeders Association. Now, Mr. Apia, grateful that you could join us. Tell us more about your misgivings regarding this new agreement between Ghana and the United States. So let me go to Anthony Morrison. Anthony, you have been in the know of this for quite some time. You've harbored this particular action towards this whole agreement that it's not something that we should allow to go through. What do you know and that influences you to then conclude that it's a wrong deal for Ghana?
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to your cherished listeners. Let me first of all correct this. I'm the CEO, not the executive director. Now, we do know that currently Ghana actually imports pork from several European countries. We know of Lithuania, we know of France, we know of Belgium, Brazil, and several others, UK, Netherlands, all. We also do know that Ghana actually also exports some live piggery to China. You know, China is the largest consumer of pork globally. Now, this industry is a very vibrant industry. It is an industry where more of the middle income players within the industry have, or Ghanaian population, have actually invested a lot of their money, from bank managers, security or military officers, teachers, businessmen have put in a lot into the piggery industry. And the piggery industry has been feeding the sector for several years. It is a sector where a lot of people actually exploit most of their investments. And you see, in the current economic situation where a lot of people are even having haircuts at the bank, the poultry industry remains one of the most lucrative livestock sectors in the whole country. In fact, you find it very difficult to hear that somebody is looking for pig to buy or pork meat to buy and the person can't get it. No, it doesn't happen. So it is one of the most lucrative. Now, the new orientation from the Ministry of Trade and also Ministry of Agriculture at the auspices of the Animal Health and also the United States Department for Agriculture. Ultimately, the Chamber is not against it, but we think that there were a few things that were not thought through. There were no consultation. The industry was not properly addressed with the implications or the impact. We were not made aware to be ready. Enough time was not given to us to position the private sector to accept and to structure its business strategies in view of the importation. Then again, we do not have a very strong policy or even a strategy for the pork industry in Ghana.
But Anthony, are you saying that if all of those were the case, it will still be right for us to allow those imports? And again, it won't have that deadly impact on the local industry. Is that what you're arguing for?
So one thing is information, data. If we were well informed and if there were well consultations that were done, Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture will know the data beforehand as to whether the quantity or the quantum of metric tons they are giving to the American companies to import into their country is required or not. Okay? So it's not that we as a country are deficient of pork meat. No, we are not. But you see, this is an international trade and it ought to follow some kind of procedure. Okay? There is the International Trade Commission of the country aware that such a document has been signed, giving another country an undue advantage over its farmers. And you see, you raise another very important point, which is the fact that if these consultations were done, the panic that we are experiencing right now in the industry, we will not. As against the current economic hardship that we are facing in the country. Look, it would have been much strategic. It would have been much strategic now to begin to look at it from a lot of perspectives. We would have negotiated very well to extend that we will be able to say, look, what we need is capacity building. What we need is technological transformation, some kind of, engagement with the more superior, more technologically placed pork farmers or pig farmers in America.
Okay. So Anthony, now that the agreement has gone through, because the both parties have agreed that, well, would allow you to bring your produce. The other side said, okay, I will bring the produce. What should happen such that it doesn't bring that, serious threat to the local business?
I think that the agreement is not contaminated with you. You sign an agreement, you look at short-term, medium-term, long-term implementation. So we look at 3 months, 6 months, and you can seek a review of the agreement. What we can do now is to look at designing a workable partnership with the United States Department for Agriculture and USAID to give capacity to a lot of farmers in the country. Maybe it is also time for the livestock division of the country, livestock public health, to now actively engage the industry and build a data. You see, our problem in this country is data of production and data of trade.
Okay.
We do not have any of these things. So it is time we clean the industry, actually be able to take stock of the current production numbers, region by region, district by district. What are the capacities of the people who are in this, and what is the total wealth of the piggery industry in Ghana? When we begin to do this, you understand that we will actually be engaging negotiations, not because of need, but because of data availability, which is informing the decision and the policy.
Okay.
That is where we need to be getting to as a country.
Grateful. Anthony Morrison is the Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Chamber of Agribusiness. Grateful that you could join us here. Moving on to other stories now. Today is the deadline for institutional and individual bondholders to sign up to the controversial domestic debt exchange program. Already banks, insurers, and the securities associations have agreed to sign on. The only group still without an agreement is the individual bondholders group. Now, a tweet from the Finance Ministry yesterday promised to soon present what it called a better offer to individual bondholders. With just hours to go, that offer is yet to come. Convener of the Individual Bondholders Forum, Senyor Hosi, says all affected individual bondholders should not sign up as their old bonds remain valid.
We encourage everybody to just feel free. Go about your regular duties. Be assured your government is committed towards its obligations towards you. There's not going to be any discrimination between old bonds and new bonds. The other bit that we have stated clearly in our position is that we do not agree with the concerns that the minister has about the tradability and the liquidity of our old bonds when the new bonds come. The economic fact of it is that the old bonds are going to be economically superior, legally superior. So it's going to be a lot more sought after than I think the new bonds will. So we encourage everybody, if you want to keep it, you are safe.
A trench developed on a deteriorated portion of the Mampon-Ejura Highway, the Ashanti region, has cut off some communities. Motorists and commuters who are not familiar with the current state of the road are at risk of falling into the death trap. Roads Minister Kwesi Amakwata has been assessing the extent of damage on the stretch. Amakwata promises the road will be fixed as soon as possible. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more in this report.
The road links parts of the Ashanti region to the Bono East region.
A section of the Kumasi through Mampong to Adjira and then to Yaji Road. A section of it has fallen into serious disrepair that requires emergency attention to the extent that traffic cannot flow along the road.
Residents claim at least 2 people have died as a result of the lethal pool. Drivers must now take a longer route through Asante Mampong to link to the other part of the road.
And vehicular movements have had to be stopped or curtailed, and trucks, heavy trucks that normally ply this road are having to go through Mampong town. It is not the best. It is very, very dangerous, and it's not unacceptable, but that is the only route that is available.
Road Minister Kwesi Amoakwata and officials from the Ghana Highway Authority inspected the deteriorated portion of the road to assess the extent of damage.
And we have made a strong promise on behalf of government, on behalf of the president, to fix that bus culvert, within the shortest possible time, in fact, as quickly as practicable, so that the road from Yeji through Mampong to Kumasi will be linked up once more.
Meanwhile, the minister and his team inspected progress of work on the second phase of the Lake Road in the Bosonchi district. Work is expected to be completed by the end of the year.
Massive job, great job. And the education minister said this has never been seen since independence, and it's really through. The contractor is doing great job, and it's all aimed at opening this place up, because we know the great tourism potential that lies within the Bosonchi district. And we are going to make sure that this road is completed in record time.
And that is awarded to Chico, that's the Chinese company. They are likely to complete latest by the end of February. They should be done with that particular project. The other one, which is being handled by Mrs. Kojo, has 3 phases. The first phase begins from Dompasi Junction up to Abidjan Kwanta. And then the second phase is from Abidjan Kwanta up to Nyamiani Junction. From Nyamiani Junction, there are 2 aspects. The old road will be asphalted up to Abono, that's up to the lake. Then the actual 3rd phase will take a detour on the Nyamiani Junction towards Nyamiani, and about half kilometer it will go beyond the hills, so that we avoid the high lands that we have there, and that will also go to a community called Obo. That is where it's going to terminate.
As the regional minister rightfully said, we've never seen such a massive infrastructure development in our district since independence. So we are grateful to the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for keeping faith with the people of Bosonchi. He came here during the campaign. He told us what he was going to do, and he has delivered. So this is a great day for us. And today we are here, of course, with the DC, Honorable Sumin, who also has been the one standing in for us and making sure the work is being done. So we are grateful to you for the oversight role that you have played. But you see, if you look at the machinery and the equipment and all the things that are going on here, you cannot but say, Kojo, we are grateful. Your company is doing a massive, massive work here. And you show the strength, you have the capacity. You've kept faith with the people of Bosonchi right from the time that we started, and people were complaining about the dust. And I'm sure that is where Chairman to me, Regional Minister, Education Minister, we are all from Bosonchi, what is going on. Now today, we can say we are from Bosonchi, and Bosonchi is seeing a massive, massive infrastructure development.
The completion of work will open up the area to boost tourism and the local economy. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Thanks for watching JoyNews. Let's go take a quick break. We'll return with business. Stay with us.
Hello, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Total mobile money transactions hit a record 1.07 trillion cedis in 2022 despite the electronic transaction levy. That's according to the January 2022 summary of economic and financial data by the Bank of Ghana. This is compared with about 902.5 billion cedis recorded last year. There's more in this report.
Mobile money transactions is about 10% over the 2021 period. According to the data, the biggest transactions occurred in December and November, whereby 122 billion and 117 billion cedis were recorded. There were fears that the implementation of the e-levy in May last year was going to affect mobile money transactions, but that has not been the case. From the data, mobile money transactions have rather been surging since the implementation of the e-levy. This indicates it will continue to grow as consumers see the platform as the easier means of payment. A recent survey by the Center for Economics and Finance and Inequality Studies revealed that many consumers do not pay e-levy despite undertaking mobile money transactions.
Now, in its quest to present clients and customers with a comfortable and secure driving experience, automobile dealer Suzuki has launched a new brand called Suzuki Swift onto the Ghanaian automobile market. Manufacturers say the locally assembled vehicle is safe and reliable. Here's more.
As authorized distributors of Suzuki Vitara, Baleno and Ciaz, Suzuki's product line covers the full spectrum of automobile needs, including saloon cars, SUVs, vans, trucks, as well as motorcycles. Suzuki seeks to provide customers an array of options. Hence, it has commissioned a new locally assembled Suzuki Swift in Ghana. Here's Managing Officer of Suzuki Motor Corporation, Koichi Suzuki.
This assembly project marks an important milestone for both companies since it is the first Suzuki assembly effort with Toyota Tsusho Corporation. We have recorded excellent sales results in Africa and Ghana with the support of CFAO, an affiliated company of Toyota Tsusho Corporation. Thankfully, in 2022 calendar year, Suzuki sales in Africa has increased by 60% to 116,000 units, and also in Ghana, Suzuki sales has increased by 63%, over 1,000 units. Therefore, we have positioned this alliance as a very important part of our company's strategy in Africa. We will continue to strengthen it to enhance Suzuki's presence in Africa, especially here in Ghana.
Chief Operating Officer of Toyota Corporation, Africa Division, Shinichiro Otsuka, also pledged the company's commitment to supporting the development of automotive industry in Ghana.
We are committed to contributing to the economy, industry, and social of the Republic of Ghana through automotive production together with Suzuki Motor Corporation. Taking this opportunity, I would like to ask the government of Ghana to further support our vehicle assembly business through the steady implementation of the Ghana Automotive Development Policy. Additionally, we are well aware of the positive stride in the country's economy, and we would be much encouraged to see government support for the development of the automobile market and sales, which would enable us to more greatly contribute to Ghana.
Caretaker Minister for the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Samuel Abujinapo, added that government is implementing a 0% VAT rate on all locally assembled vehicles in Ghana to cushion the sector.
As a further show of government's commitment to the promotion of the automotive industry, we are implementing zero rating of value added tax VAT on the sale of locally assembled vehicles. In simple terms, there is no VAT on the sale of locally assembled vehicles, even to the end user. And in the coming days, we will be laying before Cabinet the automotive component manufacturing policy to strengthen the incentive and regulatory framework for investment into component and parts manufacturing.
The new Suzuki Swift model provides a comfortable driving experience to its customers.
And that's it for the segment. News Desk continues after the break.
And that's our bulletin for you today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Please do enjoy the rest of our shows and have a good morning.